Hi, everyone. Welcome to Crash City. We have Mandy Nicole of Mandy Nicole Sports. How are you?
Good. Hanging in there with the holidays coming up. It's been super busy. So I'm glad that we had time to connect and hop on here. But yeah, it's been good. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this is going to be fun. I get to talk about two of my favorite things in the world, wrestling and football. But before we get into that, how long have you been making content?
So I started my wrestling TikTok a little over like a year and a half ago. I had been watching wrestling content creators for a little bit and like kind of going back and forth, like, do I want to do this? Do I not? And I decided to just pretty much jump in. And so I started doing that. And then after seeing kind of like the success with that, I was like, okay, like, what about YouTube? Do we want to do YouTube? So I started my YouTube page, I think like a year ago, pretty close to that. And yeah, I've been just plugging away at it ever since.
Oh, I can tell, and it's very entertaining. I like your the way that you present wrestling because it's easy to say the IWC is not the friendliest group for any fandom in the world. I have to say that the wrestling fans, it's very hit or miss with them. But no, I like the way that you and your husband, correct? You both,
Yes, yeah.
talk, present wrestling, football. I like watching in your corner. Um it's cool to see that, and especially because I believe in one episode I saw that you said that he's not a fan.
He is not a wrestling fan at all. So the little bit of information that he knows, he just knows from like me or watching it, here and there with me. But wrestling is not his forte. So that's kind of why we started our videos, because I was like, it would be cool to have like a dynamic of somebody that's not an avid fan like I am. So I love sports in general. I watch a variety of sports, always have since I can remember. And it's kind of funny because I come from a family that doesn't watch sports, and doesn't know much about them. Like, if you ask my mother to name like two NFL teams, like, she couldn't do it because they didn't watch sports. And so I don't know why I gravitated towards them, but I did. And I've always watched them. Football is my number one sport that I really enjoy. Huge football fan. But yeah, I love all of the sports. So you'll see me on my channel eventually talk a little bit of baseball, basketball as well. But I am a huge avid football fan. So that kind of it comes natural to talk about.
And as of this recording, we are recording November 19th, 2025, in case this never happens again. But your Bears are leading the NFC North. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a good conversation, but also the
Yeah, who would have
Bears,
thought that, right?
the Bears.
Yeah, so I posted a video just this week and I'm like, you guys let me have my moment because we're leading right now and I don't care what happens in 2 weeks. Like, right now we're leading and I just have to like be happy in my moment.
Well, yeah, when Philadelphia, I can't say slaughtered the Lions, just beat up on the Lions, that definitely helped your division
Absolutely.
entirely. But where did the love for the Bears come from?
So actually, honestly, like, the Bears came from my husband. So I was a big NFL fan before him, but I didn't have like a specific team. I grew up in Kentucky, so we didn't have any pro teams. I just kind of followed players, all my life. I am a big Tom Brady fan. A lot of people, I say that and they run away. So hopefully you don't. But I am a huge Tom Brady fan. He was my first like NFL jersey that I bought when I was like 12 years old. Still have it to this day. So I followed players more so than teams. And then when my husband came along, his family was a huge Chicago fan. I started watching more and more Bears, got really excited. At that point in time, like, Devin Hester was there, who was super
Oh,
exciting to watch, Jay Cutler. And they weren't great, but they were kind of fun to watch, especially Devin Hester. And so just watching through him, I became the Bears fan. So I've always just kind of been like a football fan, and then it shifted towards the Bears. But It's been a struggle being a Bears fan, honestly, but we have some bright spots looking up.
Yes, I'm a Cowboys fan. So when we saw each other week 3, I was like,
Yeah.
all right, cool. This will be fun. This will be an easy game. And then that started our downfall and started y'all's rise, which is just horrible this entire season.
So my mother-in-law is a Dallas Cowboys fan as well. So yeah, she didn't enjoy that week either.
You know, to see the Bears doing so well this season, and they're starting to look like a very serious playoff contender team. You know what is do you know what the rest of your schedule's looking like?
So I have not looked at the rest of the schedule. I know that we have divisional games coming up because we play them twice a year. So I know we have the Packers, and the Vikings and the Lions coming up for sure, which honestly, those will all 3 be tough games. The Vikings are kind of the lowest in the division, but they've still been in pretty close games for the most part. And division games are always tough. It doesn't matter how the team is performing. So those will be some tough games. But honestly, like whatever happens the remaining of the season, I am just kind of proud of how we've come together as a team, because we had a lot of holes at the end of last year. There was a lot of holes, a lot of gaps. And we had a new coach coming in, which I think this coach was the right hire from the beginning. I love him and I love what he does. But with a new coach, you don't expect the team to like feel complete. And I feel like this team right now feels complete. They've really kind of moved faster than normal, than a normal team with a normal coach, because you have those things that you have to work out, and they've kind of figured them out pretty quick. So I'm kind of impressed with how they've moved.
Oh, I agree to that. We currently have un- unfortunately we have Eberflus. We took him from you guys. And then we have Stonheimer. So we've had him for a few years or a few seasons as offensive coordinator. Now he's head coach. So I get that. I understand, that weird mesh of having a new coach and not understanding if this is a rebuild season or if you guys are just magically just going to come out of the gate swinging. And then what got you into the wrestling content? I know you talked about it, like you made TikToks and you were like, cool, but what was the basis? Where did it all begin? Where you had a light bulb in your head and you went, you know what? I'm just gonna talk about wrestling.
Yeah, so I've always enjoyed making content in general, and I am a huge talker. Like I love to talk. And so I was like I so growing up, I watched wrestling, and when I was growing up, there wasn't a whole lot of female representation in the wrestling community. Like you didn't see a lot of the female fans. And so when I saw I saw Wheezy and Minnie were 2 of the bigger ones that I saw, of course. And I saw the more of the female representation. I was like, this is really cool. And if I would have seen this like when I was watching like younger, maybe I would have stuck with it, stuck with watching wrestling, because I took a gap. Like I watched it when I was younger, and then like throughout high school, it kind of dropped off. And then I picked it back up. And so, like, I feel like we took that gap because wrestling wasn't really like the cool thing to watch or talk about. And there wasn't really that like representation or that avid fan base. So then when I saw them, I was like, this is cool. Like, I want to create a safe space for like all wrestling fans, but especially like the female wrestling fans. Like, I want them to relate to me, and like just enjoy talking about something we love so much, because who doesn't love to do that?
Oh, I agree 100%. And I like that you mentioned Wheezy and Minnie. In reality, they're kind of the forefront
Mhm.
in wrestling content creators, no matter the gender right now. Is you say Wheezy Blonde, and you have like a whole arena full of wrestling fans that are gonna at least have heard that name or know her and be like, oh yeah, no, I've seen her content before. She's been in promos before. She's been reacting to different PLE stuff, and so that's cool that you're like, okay, cool. I want to be the next safe space. Where do you see the like wrestling going for female wrestling fans right now, for women? How do you see that evolving with like the actual athletes we have in the ring like Tiffany Stratton. We have AJ Lee coming back, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, and I could go on with the
Yeah,
list.
on and on. So I think honestly, like the women representation in the ring and fans has never been at a better place. Like I feel like the amount of talent that we have in the women's division is endless. Like you said, you could go on and on and on at the star power that we have now. And I think the fans are the same way. Like you could go on and on. Like you could literally do a search and there's like so many women that are in wrestling, and so I think it's only going to continue to grow in both aspects, which I think is really super cool because it's no longer that like male dominated thing. Now the females are getting into it in both the ring and outside of the ring, and I think that that is a lot of fun, and it also gives people a, again, a positive like thing to do. Like we, in a world where like you see so much negativity, like having that positive outlet, whether it be watching wrestling or talking about wrestling or whatever you may do, like actually being in the ring and being a wrestler, it just gives a lot, it just gives some positivity and some light. And I think that the women in general, whether it be in the ring or outside the ring, are just going to continue to grow and dominate. And I think it's great.
Women's wrestling eventually having their own sub show. Like we have Evolve,
Mhm.
and probably some of the bigger names on Evolve are the women. We have NXT, which has arguably the best women's roster any company anywhere in the world. I will argue that. And then we got Evolution 2 this past year. Where do you see women's wrestling going?
I honestly think that if you took all of the women and said, "We're going to put you on your own show every single week," I think it would succeed. We saw Evolution 2 and how much it succeeded and how much, like, how good they performed, and to me, that is still my favorite PLE of the year. I think the matches were just spectacular. I think that they performed at such a high level that none of the other PLEs are competing with them at this moment in time, and I feel like if you took the women's division and said, like, "This is the women's show," like, it would, I think it would open so many doors, and I think it would be very successful, honestly. I think a lot of people would watch it. We saw such positive response from that Evolution too. So just having that one show where everybody was so in tuned to changing that to weekly, I think it would just only succeed even further. I have to agree with you on the NXT roster. They are phenomenal. I was just talking about like how the addition of Blake Monroe, she's just magnetic to watch. Sol Ruka's magnetic to watch. Like there's just countless talent in the women's division. And so I think that they could definitely evolve into their own program. And maybe, I mean, I don't know if it would be a week to week show, but I think that they could definitely have a couple different women's only PLEs for sure.
Oh yeah, and the way that wrestling has changed, because normally when you see a male and female wrestler together, usually it's a love story or not even a story. They'll just be like, oh, they're dating or something. They'll just give us something like that. And then you have dynamic duos now where you have the best friend gimmick, and you're like, oh, I think these two are actually friends in real life. And I'm talking about Ethan Page and Chelsea Green. Their dynamic is wonderful. And now we got to see Thea Hail and Joe Hendry. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like we need I've been a big fan of like the mixed match challenge. I think we need that to come back, and this is a good reason why.
I agree. I enjoy them. I really enjoy the mixed tag matches. The AJ Lee, Becky, and Seth match I thought was great. And I think that Chelsea Green and Ethan Page are probably one of my favorite right now. They are just so entertaining to watch, so fun. And they just fit really, really well together. So whoever paired them together initially, good job, bravo, because I think that that is a great pairing. But I agree with you. I like the mixed tag matches. I like that we're seeing a little bit more of them, like with the Joe Hendry and Thea Hill and AJ and Seth and Becky and Punk. I like that we're seeing more. And I feel like we could continue to grow on those. There's a lot of opportunity. We've seen Rhea and Damien have that close relationship. Liv and Dom. I mean, there's a lot of opportunity to kind of grow those if that's something that they want to stick with.
And I think where we're going, story wise, or at least the company is trying to test out and see how it looks,
Mhm.
is the AAA mix or duos championship, whatever the actual title name of the title is the only championship to ever be defended on a WWE PLE and a AEW PLE.
Mhm.
And so I think WWE is looking at it and they're going, okay, well we've played with the idea before. Now let's actually see if the fans will want this. And I mean, it goes with everything else. All you have to do is just give us a good pairing and make the pairing work, and we'll fall in love with it instantly. So those are my thoughts, at least on what's going on. But I enjoy it, and I think that it's something that we need to have more of 'em. And I can't even say like we need more women's wrestling, because women take up a lot of the time card, but for good reason. I mean, right now you have stories where Bailey doesn't know who her friends are because this time it's self-sabotage instead of people just getting rid of her.
Mhm.
And AJ torturing Becky is one of the greatest things I could see right now.
Yep,
So
I love it, and I love the speaking of the AJ torturing Becky, I love that they gave Maxxine the nod and gave her that title as well. That was such a rewarding moment. I have personally watched her and seen her growth and her hard work, and to me, that's what really kind of solidifies a good wrestler is are they willing to grow and develop and work on their weaknesses, because there's no wrestler in this world that's perfect, like none of them. So are they willing to grow and work on those weaknesses and get better? And Maxxine really has done that. She's put in the hard work. So to see her kind of get that title and get that nod, I enjoyed that. And I enjoyed that they incorporated AJ Lee torturing Becky in with that storyline, because we hadn't seen AJ in a couple weeks. And so I thought that was really, really good to do.
So we're talking about the biggest wrestling company in the world, arguably, not arguably at this point. But what about independent wrestling? What about AEW? What about Stardom? All these other companies. Are you gonna? I know that you made a video saying, "Well, I watched AEW for the first
Yeah.
time," but are you gonna go and branch out to the other companies, to independent wrestling? Like, where's your mind with that?
I never say never. I started watching AEW a little bit here and there. I watched a lot of like the Tony Storm Mariah May feud, but I didn't watch like the actual shows. I just watched like it on YouTube, that kind of stuff. I started watching a couple weeks ago the actual shows and watching, the entire thing, and I enjoy it. I think that they have a very strong women's um a roster as well, and I can't speak, I can't speak major on it because I've been watching for like 3 weeks, I think, at this point. But I think that they have a great women's division too, from what I have seen. I think that they have some really good key pieces. So I am enjoying that one. I will kind of continue to stay tuned as long as time allows on that one. I've had people send me like TNA matches to watch, and so I never say never on any of it. Like if I have time, I will sit down and watch it. I'm not opposed to watching anything. I watched the Triple A when Dom won the title, because Dom was on it and I wanted to see it. So I'm not opposed to anything, honestly. Like if I have time and it's on, I will turn it on.
I like to hear that because there are fans, the tribalism, where they don't want to watch
Mhm.
anything that's not WWE, and then finally a wrestler that everybody loves gets signed, and they're like, "Oh, I have no idea who this person is," and there's years of catalog of this person doing amazing things, like good example. I got to meet him a few weeks ago. Penta, a
Mhm.
lot of people didn't know who Penta was when he first came in. There's half of the arena that's like, oh, well, he just came from AEW. The other half is like, I don't know I don't know what a A and W is. So it is that kind of world we make content in.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I see, like, a lot of people when I post my AEW videos, like, saying I watched it, they're like, "Oh, AEW sucks," or, "WWE sucks," and I'm like, "You know what? Like, they all have their strengths and they all have their weaknesses," and to me, it's just fun to see, what both programs do. Like, I'm not going to be like, "Oh, I'm the biggest AEW fan in the world," because I'm a new watcher and I'm not, I'll be honest. And am I partial to WWE? Yes, that's because I know the history behind it. I've been watching it longer. I know the people a lot more. But there are some very good people on AEW that I'm intrigued by that I will continue to watch. So I'm definitely not one of those that are like, you have to pick. Like, you don't have to pick.
So you said there are a few people you're intrigued by, and you
Yeah.
did say they have a good women's roster, minus Tony Storm, because everybody loves her.
Yeah.
Who else are you intrigued by? Who else catches your eye?
So, out of the ones that I've watched, Julia Hart has really caught my eye, especially in, like, the blood and guts match. She really caught my attention. Megan Bayne as well caught my attention in that, match. Of course, Mercedes Moné. I mean, we loved her as Sasha, and she's in Mercedes Moné now. I'm always gonna watch her. I feel like it just goes with that territory. But yeah, Megan Bayne and Julia Hart are 2, of the ones that I really saw and enjoyed a lot. Again, I'm new here. So if there's any that I need to check out, let me know because I will. But yeah, those 2 I really have to say at Blood and Guts. Sky Blue also, her name should have been Sky Red during that match because she was covered in blood. But she's another one that definitely caught my attention.
Yeah, no, the ladies I feel like arguably put on a better blood and guts match, which is just war games, but
Agreed.
I I feel like the women put on a way better match than the men. The men just went completely out of control and it gets old after a while, but now that you are a new viewer of AEW, go back, try to look if you have time
Okay.
and go look at Julia Hart when she first came to AEW. And when you have time, either this week or next week, text me your reaction to that
Okay.
because you're gonna be like, "Who is this person?"
That's
And
fair.
it's gonna be it's gonna shock you. It's gonna shock you a little bit. But so we talked about you getting into wrestling, but let's talk about what you do to actually maintain your following because you don't, like I said, you don't have a small following for the amount of time that you've been doing this. It's actually really impressive, and that's why I wanted to
Thank
pick
you.
your brain. What are you doing?
So I'm winging it. Honestly, so on TikTok, I just try to be consistent. I try to at least show up once a day, whether it be just yapping or talking about a current storyline, whatever it might be. I just try to at least show up once a day and talk and connect. And one of the biggest things that I hope my space on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube or whatever conveys is just positivity. Because, like you said, wrestling fans can be pretty tough sometimes, and I want to just be that positive wrestling space where like we are just literally talking, and if you don't agree with who I like, you like somebody different, that's cool. Like, we can all have our own opinions. And so I would say just my biggest takeaways is I'm just consistent. I just post at least once a day and connect with the audience, and really engage with the audience too. I think that's the biggest key. Like, I want to talk to you like a conversation. Like, if you comment, I'm gonna comment back, and unless it's super negative, and then sometimes I don't comment back because I'm just like, I don't have time for that. But most of the time, like, I'm gonna comment back with you. I'm gonna talk with you. Like, I just want it to be a conversation.
Okay, so since that's how you've kept your community with you and all of this, who is your pick to be Cena's last match?
So, who is my pick, or who is it gonna be? Because that's two totally different things.
We're gonna push Fightful out this window, and Fightful doesn't get to exist here, and we are gonna talk like we are two children. Who do you want Cena's last match to be?
Honestly, I would love it to be Edge. I think that
Okay.
would be so cool. They had such a history, they had such a good rivalry, and how crazy would it be for, like, You Think You Know Me to just, like, start playing on the speakers and he come out. I think that would be a very good send-off for John Cena because they had such a history and such a rivalry. I don't think it's gonna happen, but that's who I would pick if I could pick anybody.
I think after the reaction that we had with somebody winning on Monday Night Raw, I think maybe the fate. I think everything's gonna change, and it may not be that person because of the way the crowd reacted on
I hope
Raw.
not.
But I really, my partner, she was watching, and she just goes, "It's silent. That's not good." And I was like, "Oh, you're learning. Yeah, that's horrible that it was dead quiet." But I would really like him to go up against Knight, LA Knight. I think that'd be a great match.
I think that would be a great match too. I'm honestly really surprised LA Knight's not in War Games, just because he's been in that storyline the whole time. So maybe they pivoted for that reason. I don't know. He's still in the tournament. That could be. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's inevitable who it's going to be, but I'm trying to keep it positive, and I hope not. I just hope not.
When you beat the brakes off somebody in NXT who's really good, and then the whole arena goes quiet, even if they hate you, they're not booing you. I would be like, okay, we gotta sit back and think of something because
Yeah.
this is not good. Yeah, he's back, but it's not good.
Hmm.
So now that we know like who your pick is, and you wish it would be Cope, and so do I, for Cena's last match, because God, that would have been amazing.
Wouldn't it? It's so
Who
cool.
who's your pick right now for the Super Bowl? And don't say the Bears. You're
Ooh.
not allowed to say the Bears.
I probably wouldn't anyways, to be honest with you. Listen, I am not I am a very honest fan. So I will be honest with you, I didn't even have the Bears doing as good as they are. So I would not pick them for the Super Bowl. Although I'm not gonna be crying in a corner if it happens. I'm not gonna pick them. I think overall, and this kind of pains me to say because they're in our division, but I think when they're syncing together, they're firing on all cylinders. I think the Lions are the best team in the NFL.
Mhm. I agree. I was so worried at first before I heard you say they were in our division. I thought you were going to say the Eagles. I was so worried for a second.
No.
And you guys play the Eagles Black Friday, don't y'all?
Yes.
Yeah. So for the AFC, who do you think?
The AFC is tough. There's some really good teams, but honestly, I'm impressed with what the Broncos have put together. I think that they are doing really, really well. I think that Bo Nix is playing crazy good right now. And if they can keep that momentum and really win that division and kind of take it from the Chiefs, I think that they have a good shot.
I would not have believed that at the beginning of the year, just because the way I thought Bo Nix was gonna have maybe one good year and then kind of slump like um Jaden Daniels, everybody else who has a sophomore slump. I did not think that he was gonna do great. And then my initial two picks that I would like to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl have been struggling. The Jaguars and the Chargers. They are not doing so hot. Not what I thought they could be. No faith in Danny Dimes and the Colts at all.
Listen, I love what Daniel Jones is doing. Jonathan Taylor is having an MVP season, don't get me wrong, but I don't know if they I think they're still too new. I think they need some experience behind them before we jump to that. Although we have a friend and his wife is a huge Colts fan, so she would love that. But I think they need a little more experience before they get there. I had the Chiefs being the top because I thought that they were going to come back with a vengeance. So my pick is struggling too.
The Chiefs.
That's who I had
Is
at the
that
beginning of the year. Because I thought that they were gonna come back and make a statement because they lost the Super Bowl.
okay, all right. I would have seen that like logically just being like taking them out just because you can only have so much.
Mhm.
It's not like it's not like your favorite, like the GOAT, like Tom Brady, where you
Yeah,
could have him, and yet even if he loses, it's still fine. We still accept it. We kind of know, yeah, people hated the Patriots, but not as much as the Chiefs. So
yeah.
to see your pick being like that, okay,
At the
we
beginning of
have
the at
them.
at the beginning of the year, I would have said, the Chiefs they're gonna go all the way because I just felt like they had disappointment last year. They got there and then got it taken away from them by the Eagles, and I just feel like most of the time when that happens, the team bounces back and plays with a chip on their shoulder. However, they have not done that. Another one that I am really surprised by is the Ravens. I really thought that they were going to come back and play with a chip on their shoulder. So yeah, my picks at the beginning of the year were pretty much shot out of the water because they're not sinking at all.
Yeah, that is who I have on complete bias. That is who I picked for the AFC was the Ravens. I got to work with them in July. I had a charity Madden event and they donated a lot of the prizes that we had. So I was like, okay, cool. I'd rather see them. Plus they're not in the NFC, so it doesn't really matter to me. And like a 1-5 start, I think it was like 1-5. They
Yeah,
struggled. They
yeah.
struggled so hard.
And I'm a big Alabama fan. And Derrick Henry is Alabama just royalty, and he has not slowed down in the NFL. And so I really like when they added him. Last year they had such a good year, and then I'm like, all right, they just need that like next season to like work out all the holes, and they're going to be really good. And it's just not worked out for them.
I completely agree, and I don't know what their future lies, but I know that this season it's kind of been like that, at least with everybody I've talked to, where it's we don't know the guaranteed Super Bowl matchup. Like by last time this year, we kind of had the four teams that we
Hmm.
kind of knew were gonna do it, which was like the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles, and then just throw in like the Lions or something or San Francisco. But right now it's still up in the air, so we have no idea. And I kind of like it, but also it's like where just give me a direct. Just let me know if my season's over yet.
Well, and then touching base on the Bills, on paper, they're a great team and they haven't been performing bad. They've been performing really good. But what about the Patriots? They're right there
Mhm.
in that division. And who would have thought that? Like, I would not have guessed that. And again, I love Mike Vrabel. I think he's a great coach and a great hire for them. I think Drake Maye is a really good quarterback, but I would have never projected them to have this kind of year.
I'm saying it right now so that 10 years from now, people will say I called it first. Drake May is Tom Brady's illegitimate son. I don't care. It's just the dude just gets better and it's weird and it doesn't make sense. It's not natural. That's
He, he again,
100%.
talking MVP, like, you could honestly put him up there as one of the if you're talking top 5 this year, like Stafford, Taylor, him, like, they're all could be in that conversation.
I don't like that. I don't want another Patriots dynasty. I'm good. I had it once in my life. Don't need it again. But what are you planning to do with your content moving forward? Are you going to try to like live stream reactions for like draft nights? I know that's really far ahead, but I mean, as content creators, sometimes we have to do that. Are you, the NFL honors live stream that or live streaming Mania? Because I believe you did that for this past Mania. Are you going to redo that again? Like, what are your ideas?
Yeah, so honestly, I'm definitely gonna stay consistent on posting like the videos. I do like to do live streams, but it kind of depends on my schedule. Like, I work a full-time job and I have a
Mhm.
child. So my life is busy. And so when I have time, I love to pop on and live stream. But I'm not at that point where I can do it on a consistent basis. Because priorities, right? But I would like to, going into 2026, I would like to live stream more of the PLEs. I would also like to dabble in live streaming like big events like the draft. Maybe have my husband in and we'll do like a, MLB thing because he's huge into baseball and I like it as well. So I would love to dabble in and get some more live streams going on. I also want to like go to more live events and kind of like vlog those. I did that this year with St. Louis. We went to Backlash, and I had a lot of fun doing that. So I kind of want to incorporate that as well. So I have endless possibilities. And it's funny that you asked that because I was actually looking at like my calendar for December because with the holidays it's so busy. And then like starting in January, like what do I want to do? And I always like to set goals for the beginning of the year, and whether or not I hit them or not, at least I know I had them and can really kind of just see how far I've come.
Oh yeah, and like January we have what do we have? What do we have? We have Elimination Chamber? Yeah, we
Royal
have
Rumbles January, Elimination Chambers February.
okay. So we have Riyadh or not Riyadh. Yeah, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. Either way. We have the Royal Rumble in Saudi Arabia.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm going to say unfortunately. And then we have Elimination Chamber. So you have two good shows to start off with.
Yeah, and I can be honest with you right now. I can go on record right now and tell you guys I'm not streaming the Royal Rumble. I will be lucky to be awake for the Royal Rumble because it's going to be at like 5 or 6 in the morning, and that's just I can't do it. Like that's just insane to me. So you guys will get my post reactions on that one for sure. But Elimination Chamber, I'm actually toying with the idea of possibly going. So we'll see.
Ooh, that would be a good one to go to. Punk.
Yeah.
Walking into Chicago with the title. Ooh, that would be a great one to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, as we begin to wind down, what are your socials so that everybody can find you and follow you everywhere?
So everything, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube is at Mandy Nicole Sports. X is at Mandy in Sports because I can't have that long of a username on X, so they have to be different. But yeah, follow me along on this journey.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I hope I can work with you more because
absolutely
you're very easy to talk to, and I'd love to like if you guys stream the draft. I'm definitely down to wear all my Cowboys gear. Y'all wear your Bears gear. We talk about each other's picks. I'm down to do that.
Listen, so the draft is one of my favorite events of the entire year. We used to have draft parties with our friends. So I'm totally down. Like I love the NFL draft.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, what are your final, do you have any advice for somebody that is just trying to get into content creation and they're hesitant because even though a lot of people have accounts, still a lot of people are still a little hesitant about doing what you do?
Yeah, and I was hesitant for a while too, but honestly, it sounds super, super cheesy, but it's such truth. Just jump right in. Do it. Don't be afraid. Be yourself. Like, don't try to be like anybody else. Just present your content and do what you want to do because that's really going to get you the most the community that really benefits you the most is when you're really yourself. You're going to connect with people more. They're going to like you because trust me, people can see when you aren't being yourself and you're not confident in what you're doing. So just jump right in and be yourself.
I love to hear it. Ladies and gentlemen, this was my talk with Mandy Nicole Sports. Go follow her everywhere. Go give her love, support, all of that. And we will see each and every one of you in the next video. Bye, guys.